Hi everyone, I am Stirp. Thanks for tuning in. Today's video is going to be a short reading of one of my horror stories. I've been writing a lot lately. I know that some of you that follow me, I don't have a huge following, but those of you that do follow me know that I've been writing a lot. I just finished the first draft of my novel, Freedom House, and I'm going through the editing phase of that, but I'm also writing short horror stories for my website and blog. You know, everyone has a different preference in how they like to receive stories. Some people do like to read them off their phone, out of a book, off Kindle. So I thought I would actually do a reading of these short stories because some folks might just want to hear it while they're driving or watch it at home. So I figured that I would read my short story to you all out loud. This one is called The Crawl Factor, and then right after I'm just going to go into a very short discussion on how I got the idea for the short story, because everyone likes to ask authors and writers, how do you get your ideas? This is called The Crawl Factor. It is rated R, FYI. It all started one normal and dull day. It was hot outside. The kind of heat that makes you hate yourself and hate your life. The only thing you can do to feel better is sleep. I eventually did, but before doing so, I went downstairs to make my morning cup of joe. My bare feet hit the kitchen floor tiles, and the sticky residue of weeks gone unclean pressed into my skin. I grabbed a coffee mug, the type that is supposed to make you feel better about your shit life. Cursive typography to make you feel fuzzy inside. This one read, Dare to Dream. I filled my cup with water and opened up the back of my Keurig. I was about to pour the water into the machine, but stopped and noticed a tiny, almost microscopic black object move along the surface of where the water enters. I leaned over to get a better look. It was an ant. I got a paper towel and wet it in the sink, and then wiped up the ant, squishing it inside the paper towel, being sure to crush its dreams. I picked up the Keurig and about 6 ants scurried out from under it. There was no food nearby, nothing I could imagine they wanted. I wiped them up too. If you're a coffee addict, then you know any amount of seconds or minutes that get in the way of making your coffee add to your increased irritation from not having fresh coffee magically at your bedside every morning upon waking up. I poured the water into the Keurig, and as I poured, I saw one of those little marching assholes get swooped up by my water wave and pulled down into the ocean of water that would become my fresh coffee. Dare to dream. Fucking A. I put a Keurig cup into the machine and pressed brew. I hoped that maybe, just maybe, the little marching crapper would be sizzled by the heat inside and maybe it would vanish into a crisp. I was wrong. My coffee came out in a single straight stream. Steam danced around the top of my cup and the smell entered through all openings, my eyes, my nostrils, and my mouth, hitting that nerve that waited every morning for that coffee goodness. I looked at my coffee and there it was. The dead little shit was spinning around in the center of my fresh brew. I used my index finger and thumb to quickly pinch it out. I missed the first 2 times, then got it. My coffee definitely tasted different, but as a coffee addict, I didn't care. My mind kept thinking about those ants scurrying out from under the coffee machine, all in different directions as fast as their tiny legs could carry them. I went upstairs and it was already too hot. You might be thinking, why not iced coffee? There's a difference between coffee addicts and those who drink iced coffee. Similar to die-hard Tool fans and those who listen to A Perfect Circle, if you get my drift. Coffee addicts are also notorious for being able to sleep any time of day, even after drinking coffee. I laid down on my bed and I looked at my black nightstand. I saw a movement. I lifted my upper body with my hands. There was a single line of ants. I looked across the nightstand. No food, no crumbs, nothing but my coffee cup. Why? What could they want? There's nothing here. I grabbed my coffee and stood up, moved it onto my desk across the room. I marched downstairs to get the Raid. I didn't even care if I sprayed right next to my bed. I didn't care if I sprayed those chemicals onto my pillow. I just wanted the ants to go away. I pointed and sprayed the nightstand. The sweet candy-like smell of Raid hit my nose, strong but sweet. I lay back down. I was sweating from the movement and frustration of dealing with these turds all morning. I laid back down and before I knew it, I was out. I woke to a strange sensation. It felt like someone tickling my entire body with their long silky hair. My eyes stayed closed while I itched my left arm, then my right thigh. The feather-like sensation on my face wasn't going away. I opened my eyes but could not see clearly. There was something crawling into the bottom part of my eyelid. I could feel it moving quickly inside my lid and against my eyeball, tickling it and causing my vision to blur. Was I dreaming? Daring to dream? My eyes widened. In my peripheral, I could see black dots covering my arms and moving around aimlessly. Ants. Ants were all over my body and crawling into my eyes, ears, and mouth. I sat up and spit from my mouth over and over again. I tried to use my hands to wipe the ants off my arms, but they were everywhere. They roamed in every crevice of my bed sheets and resided in every crease in my body. There were too many. I looked over at my bedside and could see the black and blue bottle of Raid. I reached over to try and grab it. Ants rushed over the surface of my skin. They crawled into my ears and brushed against the thin hair inside. I stuck my finger inside my ear and wiggled it. Piles of ants crushed against my earwax. I reached for the Raid again. Without thinking, I stood up and sprayed myself all over. The Raid hit my face, soaking it, and dripped down my cheeks. The smell burned my eyes. It tasted sour. The black spots instantly stopped moving and just hung onto my skin. Ants covered my bed. I pointed the Raid and held the nozzle down, not letting it up. I stopped and saw a movement on the nightstand. A trail was coming from behind the nightstand. I was hesitant to look behind it. I pulled the nightstand away from the wall and peered down. More ants hit my feet. I jumped up and stomped around. I peered back at the wall, and it wasn't just one trail. There was a pile of ants stacked on top of each other, a large black hill of tiny, massive, non-stop movement. I grabbed the Raid and sprayed my feet and the ant hill. There were so many that only the top layer lay dead from the spray, and the ants on the bottom moved underneath the ant corpses on top. I looked around and spotted a lighter on my desk. I grabbed it and went back to the anthill. I lit that bitch on fire. I stood and watched with bright eyes as we all went up in flames and took one last drink of my coffee. So what's the backstory? How did I get the idea for this? It's very simple. We have an ant problem here at our house. Tons of people have ant problems. I hate ants. They are so annoying. And our kitchen in our home, we clean it and wipe it. We've done everything, sprayed Raid everywhere, and they don't go away. Were they in my Keurig? Yes. Did I find one spinning in the center of my coffee? Yes, it's true. Obviously, I didn't light myself on fire, but they make me go crazy. Do they make you go crazy? I hate them. They're all over the place. And sometimes we've wiped so much, there's nothing for them to eat. They're just roaming around, just roaming. That's all they're doing. It drives me cuckoo. So that is how I got the story. Also, I'm super excited. This is not related to the crawl factor, but I did mention Tool and A Perfect Circle, and I am a diehard Tool fan. And I'm super excited for their new album dropping at the end of this month. So all of you Tool fanatics, holy. For those of you who don't know about Tool, figure your life out. But the fact of the matter is they haven't released anything for 13 years. So just imagine a band that you are in love with and you're obsessed with and you think they're completely awesome. And imagine they didn't release something for 13 years and there were rumors about them coming out with something. This is exactly what's happened with Tool. They have released one of the songs from their new album, Fear Inoculum, and that comes out at the end of the month, and I'm super stoked. I'm sorry to you, A Perfect Circle fans, but no, I'm not a huge fan of A Perfect Circle. You either love Tool or you love APC, and you gotta go to the right team. So I'm so excited for Tool and their new album. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful and amazing day. Thank you.